Hello, how you doing? We are back for another CinemaWins reaction video. This time we are continuing the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy with, of course, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I don't really have much preamble to say except that I do really enjoy this movie. It's actually, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's actually my least favorite of the three. But I mean, it's still really good. I mean, Stoke's death in general is sad. I'll just say that. And the rest of the movie is really fun too. So not much else to say. Let's just get this over with. Okay. I just realized my volume is a little too high. Sorry. For me, I don't think it'll be too high for you. Anyway.
Just in case you were curious, that is indeed Toothless and Hiccup dragon wiping I'm gonna go with as they fly away from the race.
That's
I've already
cool.
written 3 things down that all fall under amazing details. I'll hit a bunch broadly in the conclusion, but in an effort to show how much attention was paid to the details, we're not even at the 2-minute mark, and the camera has its own realistic turbulent flying movements when it passes too closely to the statue.
That's
the
cool.
Dragon perches have claw marks on them. The grass changes direction with the wind created by the dragon.
It does.
The dragons again shake the camera as they fly by. There's barely enough time to process one of those things, but each is in there selling your brain this reality. And it's all gorgeous.
And no real notes so far, except, yeah, it's insane how well the animation holds up, too. I can't believe this movie is 10 years old now, because I remember the marketing coming out for this and seeing, like, oh, we're going to see Hiccup's mom and all, so.
Not sure what it means other than, I guess we all end up with significant others similar to our parents, but Astrid is the only dragon rider I've seen stand up and wing walk with such grace like Hiccup's mother does later on.
Oh, yeah.
The kid hitting his dad in the head with helmet, guy knocking another guy out, and 2 guys headbutting, among other things.
Oh, I see it.
Dragon racing is fun, but did you forget that these movies are also filled with some of the most stunning imagery and shot compositions you'll find in an animated film?
Hope you wouldn't.
Or exhilarating flying action that makes you internally weep that you're not Hiccup?
Yeah.
How about glorious original music from Sigur Ros's Yonsei that could not be a more perfect fit for flying through the clouds?
Yeah.
Oh, and also the cutest dragon that ever existed.
That too, yeah.
Not to mention one of the sweetest human-animal friendships ever.
I was wondering if he was gonna stop talking, but yeah, actually, yeah, these movies are visually awesome. Like I've been debating back and forth whether or not I actually want to see the live action remake in theaters, and I will say the trailers do make the flying scenes in that look really cool, and it does make me think, maybe I should, because the flying scenes do look visually cool. Like maybe that would be cool seeing in theaters. I don't know. I'm still not that excited for it just because it looks like a shot-for-shot remake of the first movie, but you know. Oh yeah, apparently they've already announced that they're working on a remake for the second movie on this one. So I guess they're gonna do the whole trilogy now, which that's weird to think, but sure.
I mean, who does this movie think it is? Saving your little fragile buddy.
Yep.
Other than the dozen or so things I just listed, I remember the first thing that really impressed me about this movie was how much they had allowed Hiccup to age.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
risky move that could potentially confuse kids, but in addition to all his gear upgrades and the new mask, sweet new interchangeable leg attachments, it embraces a realistic progression.
Yeah, listen to that, Illumination. Make the girls in the Despicable Me movies age up. Like, seriously. They still look the same age as they did in the first one. And that movie came out, again, over 10 years ago. It's like, come on, guys. Like, more animated movies need to do that, honestly. Well, Toy Story did that, too. Aging up Andy in between the second and third movies. But, yeah, more animated movies, I think, need to do that.
And continuing with the extra gadgets is Hiccup's engineering abilities.
That, too, yeah.
Finally tracked down another Night Fury.
Might have to wait another 5 years for that.
A Light Fury, but yeah.
Communication skills. So are all the braids that men have in their hair and beards done by the women that love them? Seems like as
sure.
good a time as any to point out a classic, reflections in pupils.
I see
There's
it.
some alpha shadowing, as if Toothless already knows the power of the monster that made those footprints.
Drogo is coming for them all!
Wouldn't have expected Jon Snow to take such an interest in Dany's ex. Drogo. It's too close to let pass.
Okay. Another Game of Thrones thing that I'm not familiar with. I really need to watch. It's like I keep thinking, do I want to watch it? Because I hear the finale sucks. So I think, I don't know. It's hard because I don't want to be disappointed, but who knows? I mean, you might let me know.
Drag Industry. I see all
Pun.
of your beautiful beards have only increased in beauty.
Yep.
Just the detail that is in the blacksmith shop, from the dragon saddle model to all of Gobber's different attachments. Lighting effects were stunning in the first, still stunning in the second. Bright light is always used in interesting ways, like having it shining in under the gate as it's closing, partially and starkly illuminating both their faces.
Half these wins so far. No, actually, most of these wins so far, I feel like are just praising the animations. Which, I mean, yeah, because it doesn't really give me much to say. Because I'm just like, yeah. You know. So hopefully, he has something else I can actually talk about in notes. I don't want this video to be too much of me just going, yeah.
How is your swimming?
Not good.
Honesty. Julia informed me that if she was making this video, she would just keep repeating, haha, he's so cute.
Ah, of course.
So here's a wife win.
Right.
What game are you playing?
Seems like fetch. There's this image in my head of King Leonidas swatting Jon Snow aside, and I can't not see it. The way it looks like she's gliding along the clouds.
Literally.
This lighting, again. And I know the magician Roger Deakins deserves thanks. How does something so clearly fake look so present?
Yep.
Even when defending his life, or maybe especially when defending his life, Hiccup resorts to mesmerizing the dragons into being docile.
Okay, there's something to talk about. Yeah, that's a really cool detail. The fact that he has grown a lot more. Well, he already really appreciated dragons in the first one. Like, oh, these are just animals that we can tame. And yep, he's really learned to do that, not just like violently attack them. It's really cool.
And it only takes Hiccup a few seconds to gain the dragon's trust, using his little flaming sword to almost show that he is a dragon. Which, now that I think about it, must be in the genes, since his mom is all about making herself appear like a dragon.
I guess
Also, it sort of
so.
fills in the last 5 years of Hiccup's life. He's not afraid of dragons at all anymore.
I love that too. Hiccup isn't afraid at all. It's like, I remember, it's like at this point, it's like, at this point, they're just animals to him. It's really cool.
Yep, coolest mood lighting ever. But as good as Hiccup is, his mom's method has been perfected over 20 years. Man, they even got the ice crystals that form in your mustache from exhaling through your nose when it's cold. I've gotten the feeling that this is going to be amplified in the hidden world, but did they not hold back on vibrant colors to showcase the dragons and give this little microclimate its own unique feeling?
Oh, they do. I can't wait to do the third one.
Unbelievable. I don't know.
Flirting. Even the way Valka approaches Hiccup now is animalistic, which wouldn't happen after 20 years with only dragon friends.
That's
I saw this
true.
question a lot during research, so in case you missed it, that's how Hiccup got his scar and
Yeah.
how Valka recognized him.
Right.
Also, just for a little continuity, this scar was actually there in the first film.
Yeah, it's like I pointed that out too in my CinemaWins video, and that's because I remembered Lee pointing it out because I had seen this video before already. But yeah,
Nothing like your reflection in a dragon's eyes being interrupted by your reflection in your husband's poignantly timed axe to really nail your worldview down. It's almost like John Paul didn't realize his score was so good in the first movie that he could have totally just slacked off and reused it and instead made more amazing music.
yep.
Believed it'd be safer if I did.
Which makes sense, since much like Hiccup, not being able to kill a dragon could put the other Vikings at risk.
That's
More
true.
hinting at what's to come. This alpha isn't even obtruding its control on Toothless, and he can barely look at it. And since that's a $10 word I happen to enjoy,
Obtrude. Oh, this is the first time we've done a CinemaWins word of the week in one of these videos, surprisingly. Obtrude. Become noticeable in an unwelcome or intrusive way. Impose or force something on someone in an intrusive way. Ah, that makes sense.
hairstyling advice. Throw another wife one up there.
Just kill me now.
That can be arranged. Stormfall, drop it.
Huh? Okay, I'll take you to Drago.
It's like a trying to think of that line from Dark Knight. Drop her. No, let her go. Very poor choice of words.
Negotiation skills. I like that Toothless checks with Hiccup first. They respect each other in a way that goes beyond master and pet. So the first movie had a scene where Hiccup realizes he has to let go of his cheat sheet for guiding Toothless and just fly instinctively as that scene for me.
Yeah.
The score, the speed, it's something else. His Yonsei opening in this film is a close second, but this little wing walking with his mother is the scene I most wish was real, I guess. And while
No, I
she's
get
more
it.
advanced at understanding dragons, Hiccup then gets his moment to finally show that he actually surpassed his mom in some ways. Just a feel-good scene all around.
Right.
Saving your idiot human again.
just love the look on Toothless's face. He's just like, why do you make me do this? Like, come on.
Know anything?
No, Jon Snow knows nothing.
Haha.
It's even your new toy.
How could I have done this? Stayed away all of these years, and why didn't I come back to you?
So, like, they all worship Odin, and he's the one that sent Hela away, so really, why would Stoic even be mad? It wasn't her fault. Have I mentioned that Kate Blanchett is always a win?
Oh,
And
she
how
is.
Her performance combined with the animator's creation makes this scene one of the most meaningful and emotionally charged scenes in the film.
You're as beautiful as the day I lost you.
And of course, that's all that matters to him. That he's got her back.
Yeah.
That'll get you right in the back of the throat.
That's an amazing scene.
Stormtrooper aim.
Ew.
Just the worst kind of
Ew.
this moment for Hiccup to see his parents happy together. Something I'm sure he assumed he'd never get to experience.
That's another great scene.
Lending a helping head.
What do you want to do?
Impressive to have the chief, who is used to being in charge, defer to the dragon expert.
That's
I've mentioned
true.
How Meatlug's movement seems to make sense since his wings are barely big enough to keep him in the air. His body just sort of spins independently.
Meatlug is a girl, isn't she? If I remember correctly, because I have seen the TV show on Netflix. It's been a long time, but I remember Fish Legs calling Meatlug a girl. So you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Definitely. And I don't get tired of these fire effects.
Oh yeah,
Seeing things in a new light.
sure.
Flying lessons.
Oh, you know, catching up with Mom.
I get that Stoic's a big dude, but how did he and the Alpha Dragon... Oh, you mean Statue of Liberty lady.
Right.
That's a little ingenuity. Some Dragon Rider Snorri Cam action. Haven't seen Drago take that many hits since 1986.
Oh
The scale
yeah,
of
he
these two
did that too with the fact that he's Drago. Yeah.
humongous dragons is illustrated so expertly. You can feel the ground shaking from their battle. Brutal.
Ooh yeah.
Drago switches from like a reserved annoyance in response to Hiccup's idealism to full-on primal mode. And I really can't think of anyone else's voice who could sell it like Jaimin Hansu.
Right. Yikes. I hate this.
I hate everything about this.
Oh my gosh.
But John Powell's score is still moving.
It is.
Still hate everything about this. But Stoic still gets a self-sacrifice win.
Yeah, he does. No, that is Mufasa's death for me because I didn't grow up with Lion King. That was that broke my heart the first time I saw it.
And then John Powell really brings it home with the funeral score.
Yeah,
That's a face.
it kind of is.
The heart of a chief and the soul of a dragon.
Well, those are some pretty nice compliments and a good way of explaining how and why Hiccup is the way he is.
Get Toothless back and kick Drago's.
Ice wall sensor. Here comes the waterworks. It's not your fault, Will. I mean, Toothless. And you can even tell he's wagging his tail like one of those dogs seeing their veteran owners after a deployment. Hi, I'm Toothless. Have we met? Oh, and also I'm a dragon. Okay, bye. Yeah. Hiccup doesn't even think twice about diving after Toothless. In case you're a tad confused as to what Hiccup's talking about,
I wasn't.
The other two times he used his wingsuit, the end goal was to land back on Toothless.
Right.
But each time he failed. So this plan was actually based off something they'd only failed at doing. Oh, is there anything more satisfying than a boy and his dragon working together?
And then with that
That's
music,
three
too.
times Toothless has now directly saved Hiccup. Toothzilla.
Let
Yeah.
this end now.
Even though I think Hiccup has learned that his faith in Drago changing was a little naive, he still offers him one more chance.
I like that too. Yeah. Whew.
DreamWorks seems to have a thing for disappearing/disintegrating baddies.
Do they? Actually, now I'm thinking about that. I guess I kind of in Kung Fu Panda. No, actually, my first thought was the fairy godmother in Shrek 2, the way she goes into bubbles. I guess Prince Charming, the way he died in Shrek. Yeah, I guess DreamWorks does have a thing for that, don't they? I didn't even think about that.
Hugging and love. I like the idea that without constantly having to defend themselves against dragons, or train to defend themselves against dragons, the Vikings came up with a game to pass the time that also improves their flying skills. And some concept art credits with Yonsei in the background, furthering the beauty that is this film.
Yep.
Sadly, DreamWorks can be pretty unflinching in their refusal to acknowledge fair use, and this video is most likely already claimed, and I'll probably never make a penny off of it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, DreamWorks are so frustrating. No, they have claimed all. Well, actually, they weirdly haven't claimed my Kung Fu Panda 1 video, though they probably will now that I've said that. But yeah, they really don't understand fair use. They claim every single, except that one, every single one of my videos, and it's like, and they had to partially block some of them too, and I'm just like, guys, stop it. Yeah, I get that they're annoying.
But oh well, I love it all the same, and I know a lot of you do too. For good reasons.
Yeah.
I really can't stress how gorgeous this film is. I think it would be so easy to screw up the majesty that is flying, or would be. But instead, it's constantly amplified.
It is.
And honestly, Hiccup's calmness with it at this point makes it feel all the more real to me. Eventually, you would get used to being above the clouds. 5 years seems like enough time. But the lighting,
yeah, that's true.
The use of shadow and silhouette and light rays, the delineation between the bright colors in the Bewilderbeast's nest and Drago's gray metal and wood, a visual contrast of freedom and oppression, which is ultimately at the heart of the film. But it's not quite as simple as free, good, slave, bad. I mean, it is. But that doesn't mean Drago's method doesn't work.
Right.
There are actually a couple different things going on thematically that carry over from the first movie. One is that not everyone is going to be redeemable. Hiccup's faith in people is his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. He believes it so fervently and was so right in comparison to Burke's old ways of doing things, he doesn't consider that Drago's powerful will could ever overcome his methodology. And then, even though that belief cost him his father, he sticks to his guns in the end and proves that love, trust, and forgiveness are more powerful than fear. And
I do like that too, because in the third movie, he doesn't even try to turn Grimmel. Well, like that does show he's learned, so that's cool character development.
It's Drago who's so confident that pure will can't be beat that he basically lets Hiccup release Toothless. It's a great scene in general where Hiccup just mostly ignores Drago because he believes so strongly that he can get through to Toothless. And then Toothless gets true allegiance born out of loyalty and not fear. Drago was an interesting villain, specifically from a writing perspective, since he only really shows up about halfway through. And then he's pretty menacing. No real monologuing, and he's not a bumbling idiot at the end. Even when he's still trying to defy Hiccup out of hate, I didn't really find myself cheering against him. And I think it was a deliberate move to have his prosthetic arm get shot off. Much like a lot of the characters in these films, he's lost a lot to dragons. But his response was even more drastic than Burke's initial one. Either way, it's an interesting look at the paths we choose and how some men just want to be bad. The rebel prince learning he needs to be king isn't the newest story ever told, but neither was lovable goofball outcast lacking conventional qualities befriending a misunderstood monster. It's
That's
how
true.
these stories are presented. It's the relationships they build, the paths they take to get to their end goals.
Yeah, I said that once in a video too, where it's like not every story is original, but I do think if the story is told well, then I think most people won't be bothered by it. Like I do think that's part of why Avatar was so popular. It does tell a very familiar story, Pocahontas and all that, and yet it was so popular, it made so much money. Like people didn't really care. Like the story was well told, and the visuals were really cool. That most people didn't care that much about the fact that its story was derivative. So, yeah, I can see what he's saying there.
Hiccup learning that he has
The heart of a chief and the soul of a dragon.
realizing that everything he thought was a flaw was actually the thing to drag his culture forward. Hiccup is a very relatable character. He strives for and embraces peace, but goes to war when needed. I love everything about this film and the punches it doesn't pull. Even his father's death was necessary for Hiccup to truly grow up and accept his responsibility. I already said Jaimon Hansu was phenomenal. All the original cast killed it.
Get him, you son of an Eric.
A lot of the movie rests on Jay Baruchel's shoulders again. Even in the end, when he's a little more excitable, tough guy, he still really sells it. The addition of Kate Blanchett is always a no-brainer. Thankfully, her kids liked the first one, so she took the role.
Oh,
These are
nice.
definitely movies that work for kids as well as adults.
They are, yeah.
His fist with my face.
I love this movie. Full stop. I also can see the appeal to kids. It's a fine line to balance. We feel the loss of Stoic, but they move on in a positive way and end on a high note while honoring him. Still, Gerard Butler's character will be missed. So that's How to Train Your Dragon 2. Looking forward to Hidden World.
Oh, me
Next
too.
Week, a newer request that I've also been looking forward to.
It kind of looks like maybe I'm wrong. John Wick. I don't know.
Rob, you let the forge die down again.
That was a funny scene. Okay, that was my reaction. I'm looking at the runtime. I'm honestly surprised I managed to get this over 20 minutes. I mean, I'll cut this down later when I'm editing, but yeah, I didn't really have that much to say looking back because because he mostly just kind of said stuff. And I'm like, yep, I didn't really have anything to add. So I'm really sorry about that. I feel bad for making this video now but yeah, because I do want to add my own like takes on some of the stuff he says and my thoughts on the movie. But for the most part, I was just agreeing with him. So hopefully I'll have more to say when I do the third movie. But yeah, I think that'll be all for now. Hope you enjoyed it. This was a good video. So peace.